Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Catherine Smith and I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. So today is day number 5 of 29 days of soulfulness, which is 24 days. I just had to do the math in my head. I'm sorry. Not a math expert, but today is 24 days, which marks the 24th day until soulfulness. I chose to do 29 days of soulfulness because I'll be 29 in 29 days, and I just wanted to kind of do something special with my channel, being that it's very new. So April 3rd, I'll be 29. So today on day 5 of 29 days of soulfulness, I'm going to be reading you guys a poem. I like to write. I used to write when I was younger. I used to write a lot. And for me, that's just a way of self. It's self-expression. It's expressing what's on your heart. And I feel as though when God gives me something to write, or when I'm writing something that I'm going through, it's a way of me releasing it. It's a way of me putting it in the atmosphere and God working it out, and I'm no longer holding on to what it is that I wrote about. So I usually don't give my poems a name, but this one is called Stay or Go. This is a very intimate poem for me. My channel is about a whole bunch of transparency. This poem, I wrote it while when I was in a relationship with my son's father. And, I just got to a place where I wasn't happy anymore. All those red flags and all those things that I've seen beforehand were really starting to show themselves. This was after I had my son. And I just remember being in a place where I was like, man, something's not right. We're always arguing. He's sleeping on the couch, and I'm sleeping in the bed, and I just remember actually sitting him down and was like, we need to talk. And I wrote this poem because it's just a way of me expressing myself. So I'm gonna let you guys have it, and be nice. But here it goes. It's called Stay or Go. In a world of disappointments, hardships, pain, and disgust, I am stuck with the decision of, do I stay or do I go? Do I take what I have and make the best of what I am given? Staying only hurts and brings frustration, confusion, bitterness, and lots of unwanted pain. I am afraid of what's on the other side of the tracks for me. So, staying doesn't sound as bad. If I leave, am I strong enough to handle the battle that may come my way, the obstacles I will have to conquer alone? See, the need to go or stay grows fonder now because it's not just me anymore. My decisions are not my own. They now not only affect me, but they also affect my lifeline. The reason I wake up and do what needs to be done, and not what I want to do, and not what I want to be done. My gift of life, my smile, my son Malik, is my reason of purpose. So with knowing this, the question still remains, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay for him or do I go for him? Things could be so confusing. Am I the one thing that's holding me back from making a decision that should, to some, be so easy? But for me, I am stuck with, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay with the one person? Do I stay with the person that's causing me to come to this decision? Continue to accept what it is he has to offer. Accept the fact that he wants all the respect and things a woman should and willingly give her man, but he doesn't want to give the same in return, or even make an honest woman out of me. Wants to be treated like a king, but doesn't want to treat me like the beautiful, God-fearing, determined, strong, and perfect queen that I am. So again, I ask, do I stay or do I go? I bear your child. I am a woman with needs as well. My body, soul, and mind yearns for passion and affection, and not just some wham bam thank you, ma'am. So staying is not what's in my plans. I have made the choice to walk away and stand on the shoulders of my Father, the Almighty. I am stepping out on my faith, trusting in the Lord and His everlasting powers. From now on, to guide and walk with me. I vow to never ever love another any other way that Jesus Himself wants me to. I vow to love myself first before I try and give my love or myself to another man. I refuse to let any man disrespect me and treat me any less than what I and Jesus Christ knows that I deserve. So, for you, sorry because this ship has sailed and not looking back. I wish you the best of blessings. I no longer want this. So, to answer the question, do I stay or do I go? I will choose my happiness and I will go. That was a lot, right? So, I'm just going to kind of give you guys the mind frame I was in when I wrote do I stay or do I go, or stay or go. So, I wrote the poem because I was 22, was I 22? I was 22 when I got pregnant with my son. 22, I had him 23. Yeah, I was 22 when I got pregnant with my son. I had him when I was 23. So there was still a lot that I was trying to learn. And like I was telling you guys, I was doing a lot of things my way because I was trying to fill voids on my own, not knowing that I wasn't going to be able to fill those voids. And getting in that relationship was one of the things that I did. And having my son was one of the things I was trying to force to have a family. And it wasn't working. And I remember sitting my son's father now, and I was telling him, I said, I'm not happy. We're not happy because we're always going at it with each other. We're arguing. You're sleeping on the couch, and I'm sleeping in the bed. And it was like as soon as I had my son, that's both of our eyes open. We saw that the decision we decided to do together, the things that we chose to do, we saw how much of a consequence it really was and how unprepared we both was. I don't care who say that you could prepare for a child. You're never prepared for a child, regardless of what state of mind or what frame of mind you're in. And I just remember sitting him down and telling him, I would rather us be friends. I would rather us stay in separate homes because we were staying together. We were shacking. And I would just rather us go out and do the best that we can as co-parenting, parenting our child together. Me and my son's father, we always had a relationship, a friendship, I should say. We were always friends. It was one of those friendships that should have stayed a friendship. It was one of those friendships that, by the both of us looking for love in the wrong places and, both of us trying to fill voids that I I know now I wasn't able to fulfill. Not to even get on here and try to bash him or say he's a bad guy, but it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I told him, we need to go our separate ways because I would rather us be friends and, like I said, co-parent and be able to talk to each other and take care of our son together. At first, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. It was very hard because there was a lot of emotions. There was a lot of feelings that were still there. And I just remember when I wrote that poem, I was just fed up. I was just tired, and I was just like, God, there has to be more to life than just this. There has to be more to relationships than the one that I'm in. I felt trapped. I felt like I was completely trapped, and I felt like there was no way out. And I just remember crying out to God, like, God, I need you to fix this. And this was one of the things I told God. If you were to get me out of this, I will completely I will be sold out for you. I will be so fully yours if you help me to get out of this and to get out of it to where we will be able to co-parent together and to where I won't have any regrets. And he helped me along the way, and I did choose to leave. And we're really good friends. We do well as co-parents, and not to say that him or I are perfect, because we're not. We just do what we know how to do and what we can do for our son, and we communicate with each other. Um, but like I was saying, this poem, it really, it's my baby, because it shows me how much I've grown over the years. Um, it showed me a lot about myself. I'm trying to find it again. Um, you know, it was one it was one part in here that I was trying to find, but it was the relationship. It was after I had my son, I felt as though we were pretending to be something that we weren't. After a while, it did become mentally abusive. It was never physically abusive. We've never put our hands on each other, but for me, mentally, it was abusive. Physically, it was draining. Spiritually, it was abusive and it was draining, because I was once again trying to force something, and I felt like it wasn't fair to him, nor was it fair to me. Or it wouldn't be fair for my son to sit there and see two people pretending to be something that they're not, or pretending to have something, or try to make something work that's at the moment that didn't need to. We needed to be and go our separate ways. And I just was praying, and I told him, I said, I would rather my son seeing me working by myself, seeing you by yourself, or whatever it is you're doing, versus us staying together pretending to be something. Us staying together, and we're going at each other's necks. And because my son one day has to be a husband. My son one day is going to be a husband, and I feel as though right now is the time for me to plant good seeds into my son, for him to see, okay, well, I saw this, even though my parents didn't work out. The guy that God sent my mom, this is what happened, and this is what they did, and this is what they displayed for me. I don't want it to be always a negative environment, or I don't want him to always feel as though he has to always just be at each other next. And I just remember being so empty, just being so empty in that relationship. I felt like I was in my body, but I wasn't. I just felt, I don't know if I went in like a depression or something like that, but I just know that for me, I was not happy. And when you're not happy with who you are on the inside, it shows on the outside. Like, it shows by the way you take care of yourself, by the way you dress. And I just remember I had so much going on around that time. Like, I was in school full time, and I couldn't understand why I'm working part time. I was working 3 days out the week, and I would be at home with my son during the week, or he'll be at school, he'll be at daycare, and I'll be at school during the time he's at daycare. And I think my latest class was like at 12, and I would come home, do my homework, still have enough time to go get him and cook and everything. But I just could never understand why I failed all my classes. I couldn't get focused in none of my classes. And I had to understand it was everything that was going on around me. My living situation, the relationship I was in, just everything that was going on around me. And I'm like, oh my God, something has to give. Because I'm still in here taking all these classes over, failing these classes, when I could be doing something else. So I chose to go. Like, I chose to leave. And I'm not going to say once I left it was the easiest thing, because it wasn't. It wasn't. God had to detox me of some things, of that relationship first and foremost. And he had to teach me how to deal with the fact that I had an intimate relationship with this man, and we did conceive a child together, and we're no longer together now. We're going to have to learn to get along with each other, especially in front of our child. And we're going to have to learn to come together and make sound decisions with each other concerning our child. We're going to have to talk from time to time with our child about certain things that he has going on. And I'm like, okay, that's something that I had to learn. I'm not gonna say I was perfect at it. And there was things I'm pretty sure he had to learn on his end. But it was just I had to. And we're gonna talk about, the things that I went through, the obstacles I went through when I decided to leave and when I decided to completely be sold out for God, and when I told God that I'm so fully yours. And the things that I've overcame, the things that I've learned, and just the mountains and everything, like my peaks, my highs and my lows. It's just I wouldn't trade it for the world. Because there's no telling, if I would have stayed in that relationship, if I were to try to keep forcing something that was not, there's no telling where I would be right now. There's no telling what would happen between us. There's no telling. There's no telling how my son will react to different things. There's no telling. Like, my son is the most happiest baby you probably could ever meet. But I'm not I'm never I don't I don't let me slow down. I don't regret. There we go. I'm looking for it. I don't regret making the decision that I made, because it wasn't one of those things to where I just did it suddenly and he didn't know. He knew exactly what it was that I was doing, and I took a leap of faith. I took a leap of faith because I ran back to God. I ran back to my father, and I was like, I need you to fix me. And, I told him, I said, if it's meant for us to be back together, we will be. But right now, the woman that God has been pulling me and taking me to be, I can't stay in this relationship. I knew God. I knew of him. I grew up in the church, but I just had to get out of what it was I tried to force to make myself, what I tried to force that relationship to be. And we both were okay with it. There were nights I cried because I felt alone. Even when I was in that relationship, I felt so alone. I felt so alone. I felt so empty. All those voids and those things that I was trying to look for him to feel, he wasn't able to. He was not able to. I was still left empty. I would get mad because he was not fulfilling them, and he wasn't helping patch up my insecurities, I guess you could say. And here it is, we're both in a big mess. And to where now it's like, Catherine, it has gotten real. What are you gonna do now? And I trust God. I really trust God, and He has kept me ever since. Um, it's it's just amazing. Like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And this party says, if I leave, am I strong enough to handle the battles that may come my way, the obstacles I will have to conquer alone. You don't know how strong you are until you absolutely leave and do something outside of the norm. If you don't step outside of your comfort zone. And see, for me, we can get caught up to where we're actually pleasing our flesh. That can be a very dangerous place. For me, that's what I was doing. I was pleasing my flesh. And because I was pleasing my flesh, it hurt 1,200 times more. It really did. Because I pleased my flesh. I was pleasing my flesh. But when you're doing things God way and you're doing things to please your heart, it's not, when it doesn't go the way you expected it to go, or however it's going to go, it's going to hurt. It may hurt, but it's not going to hurt as bad as you doing it, trying to do things your way and you trying to please your flesh. When it hurts or when it doesn't come back that way, it's going to give you a peace. When you know something didn't go, or something didn't happen, or if I go out and I try to get this car. I want this really nice BMW. This really nice BMW. I didn't pray to God about it, and I'm just trusting that He's gonna do it. I go get the car. I can't get the car. It could be for whatever reason. You don't have good credit, for whatever reason. it's not gonna hurt as bad because at that moment you're like, okay, well, it's for a better, it's maybe for a different time. God blocked it for a reason, something. It's not my time to have that. But when you're doing things, it doesn't hurt as bad. You may be like, dang, man. But when you're doing things to please your flesh and it doesn't go the way that you want it to go, it hurts so much more and it takes so much more time for you to heal from it, because when you're pleasing your flesh, you're allowing people to do whatever it is they want to do to you, talk to you however they want to talk to you, walk over you, and you allow them and yourself to push you into your hole, your down into your deeper hole, because some people feed off your insecurities. And in a way, I want to say at some point he was feeding off of my insecurities, things that I was insecure about. And, things that I didn't completely deal with. And, sometimes some people, when you tell them something, they try to use it against you. And I just know that if I stayed in that relationship, I would have been settling, like 100% settling. And I knew I deserved more and I knew I wanted more and I knew that this isn't how a relationship's supposed to go. This is something that I did on my own. This is something that I forced it to be. So I don't know if you're forced in a relationship or even if you're in a relationship with your child's father or with your children's father and you you're like, okay, maybe I do want to stay, maybe I don't want to go, or maybe I should stay before the kids. No, staying for the kids hurts the kids more, and it hurts you even more. Get out of it. Do what it is you have to do for you. And if that's somebody you really want to be with, and if that's somebody that really wants to be with you, they will do what they have to do to get on track and get on board with what it is you're trying to do. Don't sell yourself short. Do not settle for a relationship just because you have had a child with somebody. If y'all not if it's not working between y'all two, then hey, so be it. And I'm only saying that to the boyfriend and the girlfriends, the baby mamas and the baby daddies, the ones that's not married. I'm speaking to us. This is something that I had to do. I had to get it together and realize, hey, this isn't what I wanted it to be. This isn't what I expected it to be. So I had to go. I had to go and I had to go and find my happiness and I had to go and clean my soul up. I had to get myself together because I know I owed it to my son to be the best version of myself that I possibly can be and to be a good, I don't like the word baby mama, be a good mother to his child as well and be a good friend to him so that we can work together, because even though things didn't work between us and I decided to leave because I wasn't happy, not to even say that he was doing a whole bunch of stuff. It was stuff that I was doing too that I just know that I needed to get me together. I needed to work on Catherine. And I just wasn't happy. Like I said, I felt empty. And that is the worst thing to do. To feel empty and to, first of all, go out and try filling your voids yourself. And then when you get in there, we can get to a point to where we're trying to fill those empty voids. We're trying to fill the voids with what we feel like it should be filled with because we want to please our flesh, not knowing when we're filling those voids, we're doing it just to please this, just to please our flesh. And after a while, you're gonna see this isn't making me happy. I'm still empty. I'm still harboring on things that I don't need to be harboring on. I'm still pondering on things that I shouldn't be pondering on. I still haven't forgiven people that I was supposed to forgive. And I'm so happy that I decided to I made that decision to leave, because I wouldn't be who I am right now today. I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. I wouldn't be who I am in God if I didn't choose to do what it is that I did. If I didn't take that leap of faith and trust God to work on me and to clean me up, I wouldn't be. So I just hope and I pray that this encourage you to take a leap of faith and trust God To trust God. If you're in a relationship and you feel as though it's draining you, it's not making you happy. You're doing a lot of you allow people to do things that you wouldn't normally allow people to do. You're suppressing how you feel. You're suppressing your emotions. You're suppressing just everything about who you are. Your makeup, you're suppressing it. Get away from it. Run away from it fast. If it's a mentally abusive relationship, get away from it. It's not worth it in the long run. Not worth it in the long run because you're going to spend a long time trying to make that person into something that you want. Turn that person into what you feel like that person should be. That's what you're going to spend a long time doing. And you're still going to be empty and you're still going to be searching for fulfillment, for that person to fulfill you, and he's not going to be able to. The only person that's going to be able to fulfill you and to fill you up is God. Fill me up until I overflow. But I'm serious. Don't feel like you're obligated to stay with somebody just because you've had a child with that person. You're not obligated to, especially if that person isn't trying to pull you up. If that person is not trying to pull you up, what are you sitting around for? Nothing at all. I felt like I wasn't elevating in that relationship. I felt like I was doing the elevating. Telling him, hey, maybe you should do this and maybe you should do that and I'll do this and do that. And there was a lot of things I didn't understand as well. I still had a lot of maturing to do when I was 23 years old. So I hope this encouraged you in some kind of way, some shape, form, or fashion. To first and foremost, find your voice, to love who you are, to trust who you are, to trust God with helping you to clean yourself up and to go back and forgive your past and to allow him to fill those voids that you're trying to get everybody else around you to fill. Allow him to do it and watch how he blow your mind. I just hope that my whole purpose is to just touch one person. If I don't touch anybody else, just to touch one person. And, I pray to God that I was successful. Once again, I truly, truly, truly thank you for clicking in and tuning into this video, watching this video. But if you could, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel and share it if you want. But I hope that you guys have an